Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Wheels, the show that champions all riders from world champs to weekend warriors, where everyone has their story to tell. And today's story is coming from the mouth of Fliss Wilson-Haffenden. She's a heck of a rider. She is the current Australian national TT champ, so in time trialing. She actually won that after we recorded this, so call that a bump or an advantage from coming on the show, if you will. She's also in the Australian track team for the upcoming Perth World Cup. And yeah, she's just a great rider, great person, really love chatting. And yeah, I just hope you enjoy. Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. Some people, you might be able to tell from my lighting maybe that it's not so morning for me, but clearly it very much is for you. How are you doing anyway?
Yeah, I'm good. It's 6:30 in the morning. Nice sun streaming in. Oh,
Yeah.
6:30 is not early for Australian timing. It's like a
Yeah,
casual start.
genuinely, I was watching because I've got kids, I watch episodes of Bluey. I think I probably would have ended up watching it anyway, without kids, but that's a whole other story. But genuinely, they're Bandit and Chili, the mum and dad are up at 6:30, and I'm
Mm.
like, the hell are you doing? You've got a whole hour you could be in bed yet, guys. Come on.
Yeah, but,
Yeah,
the birds, they're chirping, the sun's up. What more could you want?
yeah. Yeah, to
That
be fair, there are times that
that
I'm
hour
just sat around.
before 6 is the best hour of the day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's many things in Australia that I wish we had in the UK, but you can keep your bin chickens. That's the only thing I'll say. We don't need them, thanks.
Yeah, they're pretty filthy.
Yeah, I'm apparently it does have an official name, but just everyone calls it a bin chicken. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of
I can tell you the name.
yeah. I think it's technically just Australian ibis. It's specifically Australian, so I'm like, cool, you can keep it.
Nah.
Um, but anyway, we've already digressed. I'm sure we'll talk Australian culture a little later because I do enjoy some elements. Again, thanks to my kids, I'm into the Wiggles as well, and know an unhealthy amount about all the different Wiggles configurations and different lineups they've had in the years. Actually, I said we'll talk about cycling. Go on, what's your favourite Wiggle? Were you even into them?
Yeah, I didn't grow up with a lot of TV, but the Wiggles I liked. But I just remember being terrified of Dorothy the dinosaur.
Really?
Yeah, so the Wiggles were a good vibe, like the fruit salad song that
Yeah.
still occasionally plays in my head. But the dinosaur, no.
That's crazy because Lucia, who's the Blue Wiggle and also the Blue Wiggle's daughter, because
Mm.
that's her dad, is the other Blue Wiggle. She loved Dorothy and was that's her childhood friend. I guess in real life as well as on the TV.
No.
And it's and she's a similar age to you. I think she's early 20s. So it's
I think we had a
yeah.
school teacher, a music teacher named Dorothy, and I think I was terrified of her. So I think I just
Oh,
carried the name onto the dinosaur and no.
you reckon name related trauma transfer?
Yeah, I think a little bit.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I
mad.
definitely got some issues.
Gosh, yeah. So I guess yeah, growing up, how much was cycling in your life? How did you get into it?
Not at all.
Really?
Cycling was not in my life until the end of COVID. So I was
Whoa.
athletics and mainly field hockey. That was my sport. And that's what I was going to try and do properly. And then COVID happened, so everything obviously shut down. I mean, I'm in Tasmania, so lockdown was a very loose term here, but we couldn't go and play hockey. That was banned. So yeah, I was just bored out of my brains. We were doing like online school, but that finished at 1 p.m. And then I found this, yeah, old bike in the shed, jumped on. Apparently, I was okay. Bit of talent testing. Like in Australia, we have like a institute of sport in every state. So our institute in Tasmania ran like talent ID. Turns out I have a bit of power, and then yeah, it just kind of like went rapid fire from there.
Wow, yeah, because when you said like you didn't pick it up till COVID, I was like, I remember you did Glasgow Worlds, which
Yeah,
was kind of like just after COVID. It doesn't feel like it was very long afterwards. So I'm
no, it
like,
was
that
like
must have been rapid, because
yeah.
yeah, you go. That's probably what less. Actually, yeah. How long into your kind of cycling career?
2 years maybe. I think my first proper
Hmm.
race would have been Road Nationals as a first year under 19, so January 2022. And then yeah, I went to Europe for about 4 weeks that in that season with just like our national development program. I was so bad. I crashed every race, I think. And then yeah, won Nationals 2023 and went to Glasgow Worlds. So it was yeah, like
That's
life changed in a split second for me.
that's mad to go from like yeah finding an old bike to then also road nats as your first is like an
Yeah,
insane start. Like oh yeah, just take it easy. You know the most hotly contested bike race in the
yeah.
nation, like domestically that you could do.
Oh, I was
Like
so out of my depths. I mean, like the
really,
time trial, I finished fourth, but I had no clue what I was doing. I'm pretty sure I like warmed up for 5 minutes, jumped on, just kind of went
oh,
around. Probably nearly fell off the start ramp, per usual. But yeah,
I mean, riders who have gone on to win the Tour de France have also crashed off a start ramp in a time trial. So you know,
this is true.
clearly it's a good pathway.
Yeah, it's an important
It's a,
stepping stone.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Uh, Again, like to be fourth and be like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, there's riders out there who would be like, myself included, like I would give my right arm to get fourth, and you're just like, yeah, I didn't have a clue. I was just so
I mean,
winging
it's
it.
kind of nice, I reckon.
Yeah.
Not knowing what you're doing and just riding. Like, I kind of sometimes miss turning up to a race with absolutely zero idea and just not even thinking, just doing whatever comes to you.
Yeah, because like, I guess was it like the testing, or was it even that result that made you go, "Oh yeah, I'm a bit handy at time trialing"? Like, how did
Yeah,
yeah, how did
I
that
think
develop?
that's like the time trial bike has always just been where I'm happiest. And I think it's also that thing, it's pretty typical. Someone who comes to cycling late tends to enjoy a time trial where it's pretty simple, less obstacles. But yeah, I think that result, I was like, okay, time trialing, it works for me. And then I did a lot of pursuing on the track as well. So that also seemed to work. But then actually, it wasn't until 2023, the yeah following year nationals, where I was really like, okay, time trialing is my thing.
Well, yeah, isn't it? Just because
Yeah,
that was like you got your triple crown, some would say.
yeah,
You got nationals, you got Oceania champs,
yeah,
and then you got worlds all in the same year. Like that,
yeah.
that's a pretty handy year, I'd say. I don't know what nationals and Contis would have looked like in terms of course
Mm,
profile, but the Worlds was not an easy course. Like it
yeah,
looked like a super power course, and then that cobbled climb at the end
yeah.
that just looked brutal, and the camera people were not very kind. I
No.
seem to recall of like they just were like, "Oh, you're like practically passing out in a ditch. Let me film that and show your suffering to the world." So yeah, like what was that course like?
I mean, Glasgow for me was a bit of a dream, I reckon. Like
Yeah.
yeah, you summed it up. The first 5K was just like pan flat, which is yeah, in that time probably wasn't the best because my aerodynamic abilities were non-existent. I was like having a good look and taking in the view the whole time. But then, yeah, like it had a few nice little lumps I remember on the way home, and then it's just a power climb to the top. And when you're, yeah, like maybe I'm a bit more solid than some of the girls, probably on the start line. And when you're junior, obviously that makes a difference. You know, everyone's developing differently, and then that kind of 4 minute effort is my favorite. So yeah. I mean, I probably romanticize it in my head. Like I probably remember it being like super easy, just pedaling hard to the top. But like in the moment, I probably hated it. But yeah, Glasgow
Yeah,
has good memories.
yeah, because Chris Boardman, the shooter and time trialist, he would always say like being better doesn't mean that you suffer less; it just means you suffer quicker.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a hard thing. It's just
Yeah.
how long it lasts, I guess, changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I can't. I will be honest, I can't remember, and I didn't look up which order they were in because sometimes they do like the time trial first, and sometimes
Mm,
they're like UCI mixes it up and goes like, "Oh, the women can have a road race first and then a time trial later, and who cares really? Like it's all racing, like that." Especially they do seem to have that sort of view towards women, and that's me talking, not yourself. And
mm,
these are my opinions that the UCI isn't as caring of the women as it could be. But like, how do you go from doing the time trial to then doing the road race? I assume the road race was after, and you'd already got your
no.
gold, or was it the other way around?
Yeah, so Glasgow was the other way around. Road race first and then time trial after. And the road race was a right disaster. Like I had so
Did
much
you
excitement.
crash?
I was
Yeah.
full of beans, first world championship. This is gonna be the best. Like fought my way to the front on this city circuit and I was like, yeah, we're good. And then I was just pedaling, not realizing how hard we were going. I've since watched the video and just seen like carnage behind, got like 8K into the race down that like kind of like that straight downhill until like a bottom left hand corner. Well, I mean, there was like 100 left hand corners on that circuit. But
Yeah.
yeah, came into it at about 70K an hour. I remember having the thought, nah, you don't need a brake for this corner. Just tipped it in and just went kamikaze straight across the floor, skin gone, in the barriers, race done. So yeah, it wasn't a good lead up.
Yeah, I apologize for being so proud of myself for remembering you crashed, by the way. It was just, yeah, pride in going, oh, yeah, I did remember something. Like, I
Mm,
remember the name coming up and going, oh, yeah,
yeah,
like, I'll keep an eye out for her in the future, see what happens. And obviously, you win the time trial.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, like, I guess then to reverse my earlier question, how do you go from sort of ditching it in the road race and potential road rash and
Mm,
fatigue of recovering? Because like, yeah, you think, oh, a crash just takes you out of one race. I apologize, I can
mm,
barely speak at the best of times. But it takes you out of that race, but then there's knock-on effects because you don't have as much time to recover, and if you've got a whoop, it tells you like, oh, you've slept badly or whatever, and you can
yeah,
kind of see the effects. But even without one, that yeah, you're not
mm.
100% for a couple of days. Even
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah.
was a right mess. Like, I was like, no, it's not okay. I was crying, everything. But I'm pretty lucky, like with the coaches we have. My coach from Tasmania was actually in Glasgow with the track team, but yeah, he just picked up the phone and told me to pull my head in, and basically said, it's gonna feel really terrible on the bike, but you still don't lose form overnight. So yeah, I think also like the fact that I was so young and inexperienced was actually probably a blessing. Like I didn't have a good benchmark of what I should feel like or what good feels like. So then you don't have that, you know, almost panic to revert to, oh my God, I feel bad. This is not going to happen. I can't do it. And then, yeah, adrenaline. Adrenaline is a really wonderful thing.
Yeah, because like when you woke up on the morning of the TT, were you going? I guess you said like you don't know what good feels like, but were you
Mm.
thinking, "Oh, I back myself here. I can win," or did you put any pressure on yourself? And like, how do you handle that sort
Yeah.
of championship kind of
I mean,
mentality?
yeah,
And
the great thing for me is there was no pressure on me. Like, I mean, I don't reckon any of the Europeans even knew who I was, to be honest. Only the girl who crashed on the front of the road race. So yeah, like, I mean, myself, I believed I could be on the podium, but yeah, it was like a foreign concept to anyone else. So I think like first there wasn't a lot of pressure, but I did not wake up thinking I would be winning world championships that day. I remember I was asleep in like the team bus before the start of the race, nearly missed the warm up, jumped on the bike, and I was like, normally you warm up 25 minutes, whatever it is, give or take. I think I warmed up for like 10 minutes and just said, yeah, no. I can't be bothered warming up. This feels terrible. I'm just going to race. So yeah, it wasn't maybe the most professional situation, but it worked.
well, yeah, and it's the weird thing of like I don't know how big into cricket you are. At the
Oh
moment,
yeah,
it's not a great time to be an England cricket
it's
fan.
a great
Uh,
time to be Australian right now. So I'm glad you brought that up.
well, yeah. See if you can guess when this was recorded because it won't be coming out immediately after this recording. So,
Uh,
uh, maybe this was recorded after 5-0's happened. Maybe not. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, like certainly in the early days of Bazball era, like it got
mm,
lionized and being told like, oh yeah, like players just show up and they do the training that they feel they need to, and they're
mm,
kind of being treated as adults versus professionals, and that I guess there's a slight shift in
mm,
mentality between what is professional versus what is just mature and reasonable adult, and
mm,
it's interesting because at the time they were hugely successful. I mean, yeah, the wheels have
mm.
come off a little here, but I
Yeah,
also think the Australian team is not a bad team,
yeah,
and it's hard to come to Australia. And they did equally bad in 0607
mm.
with Steve Harmison bowling to second slip, which I've just realised you're probably.
I
Are
was
you
1 year
just
old.
old?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say you're just about old enough to have been alive for, but not conscious for.
yeah,
Um, aside from 10-11 when we won, like we have been,
yeah,
and I'm not going to mince my words, we've been dog shit in Australia. So it's,
yeah,
you know, I don't know why our media is going crazy and going, we're awful, and like we've always been awful over there. Like it's nothing to do with the manner of playing. At least some mornings I wake up going, well, you know, we might be all out and bowling a second time in the day, or we might be 500 for one. Who knows, really? Like
yeah,
in what 2015, I woke up going, yeah, we've probably done awful. I'll go back
yeah.
to bed. Actually,
Surprise.
yeah. At least they give you hope.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, like I feel that's very similar in that you felt like 10 minutes was enough, and again,
Mm,
clearly maybe under prep was good. I guess if all the prep leading up to that was
yeah.
good, then it puts you in such a good position anyway that you can kind of one
Mm,
day of under prep doesn't actually hurt and might keep you slightly mentally fresh because those
mm.
extra 15 minutes on the turbo you might have got in your own head and
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
overthought.
And I think like exactly like if the all the prep leading up to it has been good, as long as you've turned yourself on before the race, you've got for a time trial a little bit of lactic in your legs or risen the heart rate. I mean, an extra 10 minutes isn't going to change a whole heap, I don't think. And like I actually had the same situation just like over the weekend. We had a lot of track racing and we came straight from the airport straight to the velodrome, got 10 minutes to warm up for an IP and then jump on the track. And I was like panicking. I was like, 10 minutes is not enough to warm up for an IP. But then I was like, actually, You can do like 2 efforts and jump on the track as long as all week I've been riding my track bike. And actually,
Yeah.
it was a great IP. So I was like, okay, slowly I start to learn that, yeah, the feeling is sometimes more important than the numbers.
Mm. I was always an advocate for that when I did time trials as well, of like
Mm.
trying to ride on feel. And
Yeah.
like, because yeah, sometimes you're like, well, it's great knowing I'm pushing out 200 watts or whatever, or it might be more for
Mm.
you. I hope it's more for you. But like, oh, I can do this. I know I can do this for 30 minutes. But like, what if you're on a super good day and actually you're
Yeah.
missing the opportunity to push harder just
Yes.
because you're kind of being a slave to the numbers and kind of flipping it the other way around of like, actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
let me be the dog that wags the tail, not the other way around.
Mm. And like this has been the biggest thing. Like when I started, I didn't use power meter, whatever it is, or any of this, or like no power zones for training. It was just ride a hill 5 times hard, and I was like, okay, I can do this. Or we would do, pursuit efforts and just go as hard as you can and try and hang on. And like that gauge of how do I feel, like what is sustainable. Yeah, I think a lot of people miss it now because you chuck a power meter on a bike straight away and say this is the zone you need to ride in, and you'll be good. But where's your limit? Like when do you actually test that limit if you never try and go to it?
Yeah, it is that entirely of like, yeah, like it's only by kind of exploding yourself, so to speak, that you realize like where your limit is and
Yeah.
where what that even feels like as well, of getting closer to your limit,
Mm.
and when is it too much. And like on a pursuit bike, you are not getting a power meter. Like
No.
you don't even get a drink. Like it's
Yeah.
just you and the bike.
Yeah. I know.
So why train if you're not going to race that way?
Yeah, I
And
agree.
like I've had coaches say like, if you've got time to look down in a race and see
Mm.
what speed you go in, then you're not trying hard enough, because you should be like,
Yeah.
locked in, to use like gaming speech. Like, yeah, you should like be fully on it. You shouldn't be
Yeah.
worrying about what speed you go in, because are you in the
Yeah.
bunch? Great, like job done.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had this conversation with someone the other day. I can't hold this power, but I'm like, if the bunch is going at that speed and you need to ride that hard, you're gonna have to ride that hard. Like the power number once you get in a race situation doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if you can ride 300 watts for however many hours. If you cross the line second, you were second.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, it's
that's my
mad.
philosophy. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, and you brought up racing this weekend. I think let's talk about that, because I've seen some clips from. I don't know if it was it just like a load of state champs all happening at once, because I know like
Yeah, no. So
other
we had
riders. Yeah,
Sorry, yeah, we had the Austral wheel race. So, I mean, to summarize, wheel racing is massive in Australia and it doesn't exist pretty much anywhere else, I seem to find. And it's basically just handicap racing. Probably normally 2K, pretty simple, fastest people at the back and like staggered forward. And then actually, as a Tasmanian, this is like our bread and butter. We have 5 days between Christmas and New Year where you do a wheel race every day as part of like a big track carnivals. And I mean, the richest one is like 5 or 6 grand for the win, which is maybe, I don't know how many thousand euro, but yeah, quite a lot of money.
decent.
Yeah. So that was the event, but then we also ran like team pursuit trials because obviously Commonwealth Games is next year, so there's a bit of a build for that. And then we had some like UCI racing, and then Sunday was Tasmanian track state titles. It's like the biggest race on the calendar for me. But yeah, it's a big deal, Tasmanian track state titles. But yeah, a good chance to ride an IP because obviously I don't get to do the track a lot during the year, so it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, because like the wheel race was the one that really caught my attention, because I was like, it's such a mix of different riders as well. Like and you had
Yeah.
like Maeve Plouffe starting as
Hmm.
scratch, and then
Yeah.
I can't remember, like, I think it was 5 laps that I saw a clip.
Yeah,
I
it
know
was. It's
Liani.
six. Austral is 6 laps, 1.5K, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and then like some riders get a head
yeah. Some
start,
riders are
if you
doing
will.
5 laps.
Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah. By the
Yeah.
time they started, yeah, because yeah, like Liani was part of a group of 5 who were like just
Mm,
ahead, and then you end up with like 2, or I guess you end up with a few groups depending on
yeah,
who's riding, and kind
yeah.
of
And like you kind of get in like a joke. We call it like Liani has a group of 5, so they all like work together to win and try and hold off whatever the back group. Yeah, don't get me started on what happened because it was a bit of a mess. But
oh
and then you split the prize money. So if you're winning, I don't know, a few $1,000s, it's pretty good for a couple minutes of racing between 5.
yeah, yeah, because I did grass track when I was younger, so
Yeah,
like the concept of a velodrome, but on like a playing field in a
yeah,
school, with all the lumps and bumps, which was amazing. Like, there's one
yeah,
corner that you knew was slightly downhill, which shouldn't really happen, but is what it
yeah.
is. On a fixie, it's interesting, but like, yeah, we'd do the normal sprint first, and then the
Mm,
commissaires would kind of go, "Oh, okay, this person did well. They can
yeah,
be scratch," and then like, but I was rubbish at sprints because it's like too short, and
yeah.
it was also too early in the day at that point. Like, we didn't really warm up; you just turned up.
Oh,
So it's like doing that. Like, I take a bit of time to get going. Even then, like now I'm 33, it's even harder. But even back then, it was like I was a bit, I needed activation time. So like
mm,
I would be awful in the sprints, and then I'd get a heck of a handicap. I'd be like halfway through turn 1. I'm like, yeah, this is fine. Like,
yeah.
1 lap sprint, see ya. Uh, so
Oh,
yeah, it's always interesting how handicaps are calculated and how they work out, and yeah, potentially there's controversy. Potentially that's another episode that we do a deep
oh,
dive into
I could do a whole
a true
episode.
crime style Austral Wheel podcast.
Yeah, yeah. For another day.
1 episode per lap. Do it
Yeah.
that
Oh,
way.
yeah, we could do that.
And the people starting at the front, they only get to hear like 5 minutes of an episode, whereas the people at the back get the whole 30 minutes. That's
Yes.
how.
Perfect.
Um, so yeah, clearly there's a heck of a lot going on in terms of track racing. As you
Mm,
said, commies are coming up as well, which is it's a very interesting one this year because it was meant to be hosted in Australia, and then
yes.
Scotland were like, "Oh, I guess we'll have it." I won't go into the politics of all that, but
Mm.
like, where do you see yourself as a rider? Clearly, you've got a talent for the timed events, but like, what do you see your strengths and your rider type being?
I mean, I'm never going to be a climber. I think, well, never say never, but it looks very unlikely. I really enjoy a coffee shop ride, you know? I think that's going to be my kryptonite if I want to be a climber. But probably the classics is more a style of racing that should lend itself to me. I think it's just, I haven't shown a lot in these races yet, but I think it's going to be a lot of learning. Like coming from Australia, this style of racing is non existent. Plus, starting late, the skill around how do I ride in a bunch? And then how do I get to the front of the bunch? And then how do I actually race a bike race? It's taking a lot more time than, say, yeah, someone who comes from Belgium and straight out of juniors. Okay, they're super young, but this is how you grow up, racing these roads, this style of racing. So, like, yeah, the classics is something that I would eventually like to find a bit of a niche in, along with obviously the timed events. But then beyond that, these sort of short stage races, because I'm not a climber, but I can go uphill if I really have to. So some of these shorter stage races, and then otherwise just as a domestique, I also really enjoy. So yeah, a small summary of hopefully where I might end up.
Yeah, because that actually brings so many questions and comments I want to make, because as you said, like, how do you ride in a bunch, and then how do you get to the front of it? Also, how do you do that on cobbles? Like,
Yeah.
why cobbles exist? Like, as entertaining as it is to watch them, I'm like, I could not imagine riding them. That looks like hell on earth. Like,
Pretty good
yeah,
fun.
'cause in the UK we have like the Lincoln GP, which is just, it goes up a cobble climb, like, I don't
Yep,
know
I've
how
seen
many
the
times.
videos.
Yeah, and I was like, I took my kids to it, and I was pushing a pram up the cobbled climb. I was like, no. And then
Yeah.
imagining doing that on two wheels and just getting like every
Oh,
bit of me shaken to the core. No, thank you.
yeah.
You can keep your iconic hard day races. I'll stay at home and watch and be
Yeah.
happy for it. But like, yeah, when you're on a coffee ride, what's your go-to order when you get to the cafe?
Oh,
Assuming
double
they've got like
espresso.
everything, by the way, like,
Oh, I mean, straight for the double espresso. I need a bit of rocket fuel, and then you can't go past carrot cake. I think. Like, also, proper red hair, maybe too much carrot cake. Yeah.
I didn't want to make that connection, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
But yeah, double espresso is always the one.
Mm.
Again, a question I didn't expect to be asking first thing this morning. Like, how many sugars are you having? Are you just going neat? Like,
No sugar, just straight up.
wow,
Yeah. Tasmanian born and bred. We're made of hard stuff down here. None of this
clearly, yeah.
sugar. Yes.
Yeah, it's hard enough being an Australian. It's harder still being an islander off the coast of Australia. So, yeah, I get it.
When Eleanor was my teammate, because I always tried to like tell her how amazing Tasmania is, because it is. Tasmania is the best place on earth. This is for the record. But she came to the conclusion that Tasmania was the Wales of Australia, which I've never been to Wales, but that was her summary for me.
Yeah, I can kind of see. I think I know what she's getting at. It's hard to express in words, but yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. Like,
You get the vibe, you know?
yeah, it's kind of, it's there, but sometimes forgotten about, and
Yes,
but
exactly.
never like, all the people there are sound. Like, they're all great people, and
Yes.
it's just, like, it's kind of tucked away on the
Yeah.
side, and like, there are maps that have forgotten Wales as much as there are maps that forget New Zealand all the time.
Yeah.
Does that happen
If
to
there is
Tasmania?
ever a war, Tasmania is the place to be, because we do not exist on war maps. So just, if you're ever in crisis, come to the end of the earth.
Yeah, good advice. I will bear that in mind. Hopefully, I don't need it. Like,
it's about 40 hours away, but it's the place to be.
Yeah, that is a bit of a trek to get there. I flew to Sydney once, and that took a while. Yeah, and that even was before you were born, because it was like over 20 years ago. And yeah, I watched Mean Girls so many times on that flight, because it's like the choices that I remember having were Mean Girls, which is such a good film. Actually, I am unironically advocating for it.
There's nothing wrong with Mean Girls.
The other one was like Die Another Day, the James Bond film. Yeah. And then maybe Wrath of Khan, like a Star Trek film, but I don't know whether that's too early for it. I can't remember. I remember being on a long flight and having Wrath of Khan being an option. But yeah, I watched a lot of Mean Girls on the way. I was like, I could probably have quoted it by the time I landed. But that was on our way to a better country.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Going to Auckland and Christchurch and did a little tour. Anyway. It's a beautiful country. It's like the Scotland of the South, really. It's just, I think it's one of the Lord of the Rings actors said it was like Scotland, but if you were Hobbit size, because it's like it's the green side of it, but just more. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
I can see that. Um, but anyway,
Terrible.
I definitely digress. But one question I did have about like your junior career was like how soon into it were teams kind of showing an interest in you and trying to sign you, because eventually you signed for Little Trek. I'm going to assume they weren't the only team who were interested. So like how early was that happening?
Yeah, so nationals, Australian nationals in January of 2023. I had a really good nationals. I think I won the time trial by 2 minutes or something, and won the road race as well. And I had maybe one team think a little bit about it, but then not till after I won Worlds did any other team speak to me, or even yeah, it wasn't even a consideration that I would be a professional cyclist the following year until I won World. Which I mean, yeah, like suddenly, I mean, I was really lucky actually. Richie Port is Tasmanian, so he helped me out
Mm.
so much, like because yeah, suddenly I'm not from a cycling family or have any form of knowledge of what professional cycling is, and suddenly I'm being thrown into this like life where I'm moving to Europe next year. I'm earning money riding my bike. This is my job. And I was like a deer in headlights. And then he was like, okay, bing, bang, boom. This is how this happens. This is what we do. This manager's going to help you out. So I was like, oh, thank you. But yeah, like from that period from, I don't know, October to December when I signed with Trek, I was just like, what have I done?
Yeah, that is. How did you like? How did you find that step up? Even like that first year as a pro, and going even that first preseason as a pro, like meeting everyone. Your whole
Yeah.
life's changed, like literally flipped from Southern Hemisphere to Northern, and you're living, I
Mm-hmm.
assume, Spain or somewhere
Yeah.
like that. And it's like everything's changed. You're meeting all these new people. You're starting with the Christmas party practically. Like, what sort
Mm-hmm.
of company starts that way with their new recruits?
Yeah.
Only in cycling, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, like how was that first little stint for
Yeah.
you? That step up.
So I reckon I signed my contract probably October, and a week later I was on a plane to America for our American team camp. And I've never been to America. I think I had maybe 300 Australian dollars in my bank account at this point. So the first issue was getting through customs. There's like an 17 or 18, whatever I was, year old girl going through customs with $300 in her bank account. And then I arrive in America, look at the room list, and I'm arriving 1 a.m. in the morning. And I'm rooming with Elisa Longo Borghini. And like my heart just like went, ugh. I was like, no. I was thinking they would put me with, a Brody Chapman, Amanda Spratt, a bit of Aussie comfort. Nope. And the worst part about it, I arrive 1 a.m. in the morning, so I'm thinking, shit, Elisa Longo Borghini is asleep in this room. And I have to introduce myself in the morning as just this random Tasmanian child that's just landed in America, and suddenly I'm a professional cyclist. So this was terrifying, the hardest introduction. I was so overwhelmed. And then I came back to Australia and didn't do December or January camps because I raced Tour Down Under, which is, yeah, it's pretty typical for an Australian not to do December camp. But then, yeah, I showed up at the races and I was like, right, this is how this all works. Okay. Australia is a gentle start. I mean, because, it's a bit like casual, low level. And then I went to Spain for the first time ever, landed in Girona to this new apartment I'd never seen in a country I've never been in. So, overwhelmed is like not a good enough word for it. And then I went to March for the first, not to March, to Belgium for the first classics, to like this hotel, and the men's team is there, the women's team is there, the staff is there. There's like a team bus. I mean, a team bus is a foreign concept to us at this point in time, or like team cars. And I was like, oh, whoa. And then, yeah, I crashed again, got sick. I was a right disaster for about 12 months until maybe like the Italian races in October. Suddenly I was like, okay, bike racing, I understand it again. But yeah, I was so bad. For my first year, I was just a hazard on the bike, I think. So yeah,
Wow.
that's a lot of words, but
But I mean, like, just looking at the level of progress you've made, like, to go from that to being a world champion again,
yeah,
so 2 times in your career, like, that must feel pretty good. And you've clearly got a penchant for those courses where there's a
yeah.
nasty ass climb at the end. Um, like, what was it like riding the team time
Oh,
trial champs? It was the
so
mixed race, wasn't it?
yeah, the mixed race. This was a complete like surprise that I got to do it. We only like sort of I joined in the training in Andorra about 1 week before, and they were like, actually, you look all right doing this. So then, yeah, I got to join the start line. And for me, my first nationals was the year Brody Chapman won. And then Amanda Spratt is like Australia's like golden child of cycling. So, that's the first name you learn when you start cycling as a young girl. So I'm like on the start line looking, and I've got these two probably like biggest Australian names in cycling for me. And I was like, oh, how did I end up here? you know? And it was just winning wasn't even a concept in my head. I mean, of course, I want to win. Like that's all why we all stand on a start line. But I was just like, this is next level. So yeah, it was pretty special.
Yeah, because like, how does it feel to be like stood on the podium then with two icons, and then the men's side as well of like
Yeah, the men's
Bling,
team
who's
was
been
also pretty.
yeah,
pretty good. Oh,
like
I
Michael
was just
Matthews has been going years, has he not?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, I was just like up there, like, and in Rwanda, this podium was incredible. Like all the people, everything. It was so crazy, and I was just standing up there, like, think about 18 months ago when I first landed in Girona, and I was, yeah, barely managing to get myself to the supermarket and back. Like, that's something pretty crazy that's happened in a very short space of time. So, like, it was pretty emotional sort of moment, actually. I was like losing it because I have like five incredible Australian cyclists, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And then I was like, this is really crazy, not just a little bit crazy. So, yeah, I mean, as I said at the start, you always romanticize these moments, don't you? Like when you think back to them. But yeah, that was a special one.
yeah, because it's like, imagine like telling 15-year-old you playing field hockey, like, oh,
Oh,
by the way, one day you're gonna win the worlds
yeah,
of like in Rwanda, like,
yeah.
yeah, sure, fine,
Yeah.
like,
Cool. Can you tell me what a mixed time trial is?
yeah, yeah, exactly. You ride
Yeah,
together as a team,
yeah,
like, well, okay,
yeah.
like,
She wouldn't believe it.
what's a cobblestone? Like, why
Oh,
are they included?
they shouldn't be included.
Not in the time trial, but yeah,
Yeah.
like, I guess, like, kind of a curveball question. Like, did that help you feel like you belong? Because, like, when the way you describe it, like, it was five like Australian like icons and professional cyclists, and like
Yeah.
you're part of that. Like, it wasn't five; it was six because you were there.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, like it's something I've struggled with, I think, a lot since I turned professional, is that feeling that I belong, like first a part of Little Czech, incredible team, but I feel like I was not at the level maybe of a professional cyclist when I joined them. So finding that belonging that I'm deserving to be a part of that team. And then Worlds was like for me so special because I like suddenly had this feeling like, yeah, actually I can do this. I actually do belong in these teams and I have a role here. So, I mean, when I think about it, I think, there's these five incredible people and I'm pretty lucky to be standing next to them. But in terms of my ability as a cyclist, I think that was one that Worlds with the under 23 time trial, even though it ended in disaster, but I showed myself that I can be there, like on that podium, and yeah, it's a pretty nice feeling to have, and it was a super nice way to end my season. I think it can
Yeah.
only help.
Yeah, well, that season's over, but you're already getting stuck into to track, and obviously road nats are just around the corner and
Yeah,
they'll have happened before this has come out. So
yeah.
congratulations, amazing results,
I hope
whatever they
it
were.
doesn't
Um,
today.
um, I guess, yeah. What are the plans for 2026? What are you
Yeah.
looking ahead to?
I mean, the start of the year is going to be pretty crazy. So obviously, Road Nats is 8th of January. They've been really nice and actually given us an extra week this year, which is wonderful. Nothing like VO2s in the first week of January. But yeah, Road Nats. And then straight from Road Nats, I'll actually head to training camp in Spain. So I won't do Tour Down Under this year. Something a bit different, which I think will be a nice change. And then from there, hopefully the plan will be UAE tour. So yeah, back across, and then Track Oceanus is beginning of February in New Zealand. So I can go pretty much straight from UAE to New Zealand, and I'm super excited because I've never been to New Zealand. And then from New Zealand, head back to Australia because we have a Track World Cup like the first week of March. So, I mean, it's really heavy. And then obviously from March back to Europe because I'm already very late now to start the road season. But yeah, it's super track heavy, which is, I mean, unusual. But with Commonwealth Games, it's like this 2-month window where I can just get runs on the board and then qualify hopefully and then like commit to the road season from there. So yeah, a few frequent flyer points will be tallied.
Yeah, that's a lot of films.
That's a lot
Uh,
of mingles.
yeah, she doesn't even go here for a start, but yeah, that does sound crazy, and
Yeah.
yeah, I get. I'm trying to think like, just because in a sporting context, Australia is this weird kind of like,
Oh.
well, even like you compete in Eurovision now, which I love. But like in football, technically they're like, yeah, we're bored of playing in the Oceania, we'll play in Asia Conference instead
Yeah.
and qualify that way. Um, I guess they were just too good. Not that that's
Obviously.
ever stopped the Aussies before. Normally they'll just happily accept it, but no, apparently now it was too much. But like, I can't even imagine like because obviously there's New Zealand, but then after that for Oceania champs, it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like there's many cycling nations, especially for track. Like,
Oceania, yeah, it's New Zealand versus Australia. I mean, the fact that Oceanias, from a UCI standpoint, is equal to Europeans, like if you're thinking points, this kind of stuff, it's wrong. Like, I understand you need a continental championship, but yeah, there's not a lot going going on in Oceania.
no,
So yeah,
because like you get to see it even at the Commonwealth Games. You see the disparity between some of the early pace setters in like the kilo, and
yeah.
they've not even got a single disc wheel, and
No,
it's
they're
like
probably mixed and jerseying.
yeah, and it's like well. To me, that doesn't feel like a competition. It just feels a bit
No.
mean, really. Like, and I feel like it's a similar vibe with Oceania champs. Is like, yeah, after New Zealand and Australia, it's kind of like, okay, like there's not that infrastructure, and
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
other countries have potential. It's just they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have, I guess, the tradition, and
Yeah.
that makes it difficult for them. And I wish things were more equitable, where they could compete and actually make it a competition.
It would be pretty cool. Like, and I can imagine some of the like island nations around. Some of these guys, I think, if you like, they had infrastructure, you would have some quick sprinters. Like these guys are
I
built.
was going to say, like, could
Holy,
you
they
imagine?
up for Oceanas, and you look at them and you're like, whew, imagine with a nice bike how fast you'd be going. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because like they'd put Robert Fursterman to shame. Surely someone like the Samoans and Fijians,
yeah,
like,
for sure, it would be crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, I
it's
mean, like
yeah.
Oceanas just doesn't have, particularly the road Oceanas, does not have any real respect either. I mean, this year we didn't even run one because no one wanted to host it. So then next year, we have got it up and running for next year, but they run it in like April or March. And
Mm.
of course, World Tour riders have left by this point, and even a lot of the continental riders have left now. So it's a club championship between the Australians and the New Zealanders, basically, for a hell of a lot of UCI points.
That's going to be crazy. Like, just one random person from Hobart with like 300 UCI points just chilling.
Exactly. I mean, there's great riders,
Yeah.
but UCI points do not get used for anything.
Yeah. But speaking of winning, I like to throw this question in and ask everyone, like, if I can make you this Faustian bargain that you can win one race, but that's it for the rest of your whole career, what are you winning and why?
One race for the rest of your career. Oof. If it was only one race, I would nearly
Yeah, you
say
can't.
Olympics.
Olympics.
Because there's a logic. Olympics would set you up. Like you come home to Australia as an Olympic champion, oh, you don't need to work a day in your life, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
Go
my
on
favorite
panel
cycling race,
shows.
but in terms of one race ever, Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Like, yeah, you get invited to all the panel shows. Anytime they just need a random sports person, like, just wheel
I'm
you
there.
out. Like, higher, yeah. Like, where's my $3,000? I don't even know what an appearance fee is, but like, I guess it's
Neither.
something like 3,000 Aussie dollars, or maybe even more. I don't know. If you're Olympic champ, maybe
I'll
you
get
can
back
ask
to
for a
you
bit
one
more.
day, hopefully.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can give
yeah.
you an
When you've
answer.
done it, just message me and let me know.
Yeah. But if it wasn't the Olympics, Paris-Roubaix.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first race I ever watched was Lizzie Deignan winning Paris-Roubaix.
Oh my
So
god.
it's like
Yeah.
surrounded in gold for me, that race.
That puts so many years on me as well. Of like, it's like, I remember when there wasn't a women's Paris Roubaix. I remember when all we got to watch was like Tom Boonen or Fabian Cancellara just solo for 60k, or not even that, but like do a match here, but like
Yeah.
not as long. Yeah, that was sometimes a hard one. I didn't enjoy it back then even. I'll be honest with you. Like, I like a close race. That's why I
Yeah.
like like sprints are
I think
interesting.
it's cool for the
Yeah,
last 5K of the race. It's
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, exactly. It's a great race when you get to
Yeah.
it. Like the
Yeah.
rest, the lead up can kind of be a bit perfunctory, but when you get to it, oh, it's amazing. And
Yeah.
like Cavendish was like my favorite rider, still is. He always will be.
Yeah.
And like when he won the record breaking win, like I
Mm.
sobbed. I will admit that.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to crash. Like, I think my family
Well,
thought I was
yeah.
being tortured
But if
because I
you're
was
not,
just screaming all the time.
yeah.
But like a tight race is entertaining because there's tension.
Mm.
A solo breakaway in like Strada Bianca for 80k, like that doesn't
Mm.
entertain me. I'm like, well, cool. I've seen what I need to. Like,
Yeah. But that's the
I
good
can
thing
get on
about
with
women's
housework.
racing, I reckon.
Yeah.
Women's racing at the moment is amazing because it's so close.
Yeah.
Men's racing
Yeah.
currently is quite boring, actually. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, partly
it's
because
super
like,
cool to say we're watching it happen, but the women's racing is what I would sit down and watch.
yeah, definitely. Like, 'cause there's so many stories that come out of it. Like in the tour with like the eldest women winning the opening stages, and it's
Yeah, that
like,
was
what's
cool.
going on? Like, this shouldn't happen. Like, just
Yeah.
yeah. And like as you said, like there was a period of time where every women's race, like there'd be a breakaway and they'd survive by like 10 seconds or something really short, and like they just wouldn't get caught. And it's
Yeah.
like there was just a succession of races where that kept happening. I was like, this is great because the breakaway has a chance. And even if they don't win tomorrow, they could do it on Wednesday or Thursday or
Yeah.
whenever. Like, yeah, it was exciting. And I prefer that versus going, oh, the breakaway's got a minute and a half, but it's 50k to go. They're going to get caught. And everything's under control and it's kind of sterile almost. And it's like, yeah, it's going to be a sprint. I'll come back in, 50k to go. I'll be back in about, 45 minutes? That should be close. Like,
yeah, it's boring.
It becomes background noise, if anything. It's great if there's something else you've got to do at the same time.
Well, it's really good background noise. I'm the most productive when that's happening.
Yeah, whereas women's racing is awful for when you've got stuff to do because it compels. Like, I find it so compelling. And like, I need to know what's going to happen next.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Awesome. So that's actually all my questions used up as well, which is incredible that we've spoken at such length. So thank you for that. Well, I said all questions. There is one question left, which is how can people follow you in the metaphorical sense of online, so they know what you're up to, can see what races you're doing, how the different championships and races are all going?
Just follow me on Instagram, I guess. I'm not a social media superstar, but I am on there. And I will endeavor to share my experiences. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that'll be up as we speak now. An image of your Instagram handle will be on screen so people can find you and locate you quite easily. Again, in the metaphorical sense, not show up at your door.
Maybe don't do
that would be weird. And it'll be in the show notes. So, yeah, thank you so much.
No, cheers. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. That was the amazing Fliss Wilson-Haffenden. It's great to chat with her. Really enjoyed it. She's a great rider, great person. And yeah, I just can't wait to see how she gets on at the World Cup. I don't even know when that's scheduled, so this might be out on the weekend of, it might be out beforehand, it might be out slightly after, who knows? And you might be listening after anyway. But until next time, we will see you around.